The Oracle of Luna is a podcast with me, Bridget Engels, as your host. Here we have conversations with real live, present-day goddesses who are actively and courageously doing their magical work in the world. Each episode is a bewitching journey with relevant discussions on topics such as Wiccan pagan spirituality, writing, culture, magical practices, art, ritual, and the craft in its many forms. Merry meet, and welcome to another episode of the Oracle of Luna podcast. I'm Bridget Engels, your host, and today we'll be chatting with two remarkable guests, Cairelle Perilloux and Laura Hegle. Cairelle and Laura are devotees of the Goddess Brigid, co-founders of the Sanctuary of Brigid, and co-editors and contributing authors of the Brigid's Light anthology. Welcome, Cairelle and Laura.
Hi there. So glad that you have us visiting today. We're thrilled to be here.
Yeah, so how are you doing?
Good. Been traveling and back in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, and yeah, doing great.
All right, cool. So we have a lot to unpack here today. I'm really excited to have you both on the show because I am a great fan of this anthology, Brigid's Light, and obviously I'm a devotee of Goddess Brigid, been devoted to Goddess Brigid for many, many years. So I'm gonna just launch right into the questions I have for you. Okay?
Yes.
Great.
All right. So how did both of you begin your devotion with the Celtic Goddess Brigid? When did that start? Were you always devoted to Goddess Brigid, or?
I'll start. This is Laura.
Uh-huh.
It's been about a decade for me, and I saw her name, and it was like, I have to know who this is and how she is. And pretty quickly found myself in England. And when I landed there, I just felt like I knew that place, and I'd never been there before. Enjoyed myself immensely. And when I got back, my mother gave me a genealogy book of our family, and I found that my matrilineal line hailed from England at Brigid's Well, and their surname is Bridwell.
Ooh.
And it was like she'd just always been there. She was just waiting for me. So that's how I met her.
Yeah, and for me, New Orleans is very Catholic. There's a lot of Irish came into the country through New Orleans, and my introduction to her actually came through Catholicism and Saint Brigid. When I got older, I, decided that the church was not for me, and she's just kind of there, right? So she's always been kind of humming in the background for me. And when I was ready to explore her further, she was just there. She's all encompassing. Like that cloak she's laid out. The light is on. She's just waiting for you to come. She's waiting for you to come to the door, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think Goddess Brigid is so multifaceted and has so many meanings and symbols and ways to devote and connect with her. I'm just curious, what interests and inspires you both to dedicate yourself to Goddess Brigid now?
For me, Cairelle, I like the way that she's for everybody. So I made a joke a couple of years ago with Laura. I said, Brigid is like a disco ball, right? She's up there. So she's so multifaceted. It's no matter what direction you shine a light on her from, It sparkles everywhere. So this is a goddess that has traveled immensely.
Yes.
Her people have carried her all over the world. And even though she's got her cultural roots in modern cultural roots in Ireland, she's just everywhere. And I love how accessible she is. She can be very fierce. She has that spear. She's got she does have a warrior energy to her, that
Yes.
fire energy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's the gentle mother, and she is what you need her to be when you need it. And I that's beautiful to me. That's beautiful to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
How about
Yeah,
you?
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, I think about her diaspora. I think about the people that are everywhere that she traveled with. She travels with us. And I think she travels with us through every phase of life. I love her love of the people. I love her creativity, and I really connect to her as a keening mother.
Mm.
Um, she shows us how to walk through difficulty and still have a big open heart, and I love that about her.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. I I see Goddess Brigid as a healer, and I also see her as the great purger, the great transformer, and that speaks to her midwife, transforming us through the through her forge. And she's not always easy, is she?
No, no, she's
No.
not. I'll say real quick, somebody said to me one time,
What's that?
vehemently disagree with that. She is a goddess for people, anyone who's stepping onto a goddess path, but she is so powerful. And
Yeah,
I think to relegate her to a sweet goddess that's only for beginners does a great disservice to her,
I
because
agree.
she's so powerful. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So who would you say has influenced you both the most on your Goddess Brigid spiritual path?
I know the first answer I'm going to come up with, and I know Laura's going to give the same one. So go ahead, Laura.
I love Mary Condren. I
Yeah.
love how she writes. I love how she presents it to you. I just love her. Um, her work is amazing. Um, Also, Marion Brigantia in Glastonbury.
Oh yeah,
Her,
she was on my show.
yeah, her devotion
Hmm.
and certainty is just, I think she's an amazing woman. But also for me, and I'm just gonna say it, Bridget herself is my inspiration. She herself drew me to her.
Mm,
And that I love that about her. Yeah.
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 I was just curious, did you grow up Catholic as well, Laura?
I did not. I grew up with I hate to say no religion, but I I grew up only, yeah, let's just say with my parents never took me to church. Let's put it
Mm,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. No.
So I was just curious, real quick, how did you both meet?
Mhm.
Laura,
Cairelle,
yeah. So I flew to California for an event as part of a circle that we were both in. Um, and Laura picked me up from the airport. We knew each other, but only like by association with other people.
Hmm.
And she picked me up from the airport. She was available, and it was a horrible. I was terrified because I had never really been in the snow before. Icy road, interstate, and she's like, "Oh, it's fine." And we just started talking and realized that we both had this deep affinity. At that point in our lives, we were both very much involved with devotion to Brigid, and we just hit it off. And it just kind of grew from there. I mean, we like instantly hit it off. It went from acquaintance to friendship really quickly, and then ever since then, I mean, we've just been walking this path together, just kind of intersecting and weaving in and out with the things that we're doing. And yeah, it worked. It
Yeah.
worked. And so, that was it. That was it.
Yeah. It sounds like Brigid brought you together.
Absolutely. Yeah,
She,
I think so.
she absolutely did. It was actually really beautiful the way she orchestrated it. Like Cairelle said, Cairelle felt that the roads were very treacherous. I felt that they were not, but I live in the mountains and drive in the snow. So but it was a beautiful bringing together. If you could step back and look at it, you could see the orchestration of it. I mean, I knew Cairelle online. I didn't know her. I just thought, oh yeah, I could do that, no problem.
Yeah.
And so it was really beautiful and
Yeah.
super grateful
Yeah.
for that connection.
Oh yeah, the connection is, I mean, the connection made here. Well, I mean, it enabled us to put this book into the world, and there's
Right.
more coming, and yeah, I just, it was just meant to be. So yeah.
Well, that was going to be my next question is can you tell us a little bit about your Brigid's Light anthology and what inspired you both to compile writings and poetry and recipes and the folklore and the spells and the stories? I'm just such a big fan of this book, and I highly encourage all my listeners to read this wonderful anthology on Goddess Brigid.
So we love this book. We were so happy working on this book. We there's just we saw Bridget everywhere around us, and everybody had a story. Everybody had a story. Oh, Bridget this, and I don't know who even said it first. I don't know if it was Laura. I don't know if it was me. We were just talking, and we're like, we should gather these stories
Yeah.
together. And I said, we should do an anthology. Or Laura said, we should do an anthology. One of us said it. I don't even remember now. And I reached out to Judica Illis at Wiser. Judica's been a friend of mine for a long time. And I said, what do you think about this? And she said, well, Wiser doesn't really do anthologies that much, but this is interesting, write a proposal. And they took it on. And so many people contributed to this anthology. And
Yeah.
Laura has her own take on it. But it's just, it was it was hard work, but
I
we
bet.
loved it.
Yeah, and gathering all the contributors and their stories and their bodies of work is must have been a big job.
It was a big job, but the I call it our first masterpiece. When it all came together and we sat down and read it, I just cried. I was like, look what she did. She brought two strangers together, and now this. And people can know her and experience her in all different ways. So for me, I thought prior to doing this, I thought a lot about our traveling ancestors
Hmm.
and the richness of what they left behind to start over. And a lot of our stories were lost. And
Hmm.
the who we are and the why and the how we are. So my desire was to preserve that for future generations so
Hmm.
that my um, my family can know the strong women that they came from.
Yeah, and the influence of Goddess Brigid.
That's right.
Yeah,
I
yeah, and
include
that
her.
was a
Yeah.
absolutely, that was a big point for us too. Because when you talk about Bridget, of course, you always want to defer to Native Irish voices, and because that's her cultural homeland, and so we struggled with how not to speak over that cultural lived experience. And the take that we had from it was, well, we're going to speak as descendants of people who traveled,
Mhm.
like from Ireland. So, Ireland has populated the world, right?
Oh yeah.
And and so many people have descendants from there. So we approach this anthology as we want to hear from the descendants of people who traveled and took her with them, because that's how she got around in the beginning. Of course, now there's the internet and whatnot, but in the beginning, when Irish people started to really move out, in the 1800s, and they took her with them. And like Laura said, they left behind their traditions, they left behind their dead, they left behind the land, they left behind all of those things that you hold so dear. And they were able to bring some of it with them. And, she has persevered through these big changes. And, her resilience is really speaks to who she is as a goddess and what she can offer people. So
yeah, she's very popular. I've noticed in the past, 10 years, I guess her popularity has grown. I'm assuming she's always been popular, but it seems like more and more she's gaining popularity.
yeah.
I mean, I've always been with her and she's always been with me, but I don't know. It just seems like she's a goddess of this time.
Oh, definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
she really is. When you think about how much people move now, like I said, we think of her as a goddess who travels. And so the world is a fast-paced place. And she's able to keep up with that. Yeah, so yeah, and no wonder you feel close to her. I mean, you have her name.
Yeah, my mother. This is my real name. My mother gave it to me.
Right, no, right. So I mean, so even that's such a connection, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
literally bear her name.
Yes.
And that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Well, I grew up Catholic.
Yeah.
And she was part of the teachings of Catholic, growing up Catholic. But anyway, that's a whole different story. So moving on, you both are co-foundresses of the Sanctuary of Brigid. What is the Sanctuary of Brigid, and how was that formed?
So right after we met, first of all, it's an informal collective of women with a focus on community and individual service. Of course, men are welcome too. And we started out as a group of women. That's why anyone who's devoted to her is welcome. We wanted to just, there's a unique culture around goddess-centered devotion, and we wanted to preserve and perpetuate that culture. To have this sisterhood of women supporting women in their individual endeavors. So there's lots of organizations out there. You can pay dues or you can join for a membership fee or whatever. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to have something informal, so we don't have dues. We don't handle money at all, really. We want to facilitate people and share information about Brigid so that we think of Brigid as being an example of how to be loving and compassionate and to show goodwill toward others. And we want people to be that example wherever they are in the world. And in that way, Brigid, it comes up in all of these places. So you don't have to do anything for us in our organization. We just want you to do things where you are, whether it's donate food or spend time doing things. However you're able to be of service to others.
Was this formed after the Brigid's Light anthology, Sanctuary Brigid, or
just before?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a unique community. Do people meet in person, or is it mainly online, or how do you connect? How does everyone connect?
I don't know, how do we connect, Laura? Yeah, I mean, online, most definitely. I mean, there's no online meetings per se. Well, we're very active around Imbolc, obviously. When we do, we wanted to share things with the book or whatever, but it's really more about, hey, what are you doing over there? So it's kind of these individual, like, kind of connections, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. We do have our flame keeping group though.
So what are the Sisters of the Flame, and what do they do? What?
I ran off with the other question. I'll let Laura handle this one.
Okay.
So that is an online flame keeping group. We have a permanent rota of people that, share their flame. But just before I came on, I don't even know if Cairelle knows this, I allowed our 200th person who asked to join our group. So there's 200 members in our group. And our goal with that was to always have a flame lit for Brigid. And really all we do is we have our day and we share our flame. And, and I'm just thinking what comes to mind. Like, I think it was this time last year, we had 2 or 3 women that were expecting around this time. And so,
Mhm.
we share with them, we talk to them, yeah, it's very informal. It's
Mm-hmm.
very informal, but we want to keep her flame lit, and we want to honor her, and we want to remember who she is to us individually, but also who she is, just like in Brigid's Light, the book, to different people, because she's different things to different people, right?
Yes.
So, we really encourage to share, to post a picture of your flame, and we get to know each other in that way. And so it's really beautiful because it's not formal. I mean,
Right.
we've said that 2 or 3 times, right? Like, we're very informal. We're not rigid about, like, you have to do this and you have to do that and no, we just want to welcome people like
Yeah.
Brigid did. Brigid
Yeah.
welcomed.
We
Mhm.
want it to be
So
very
when you
organic.
say
Yeah.
flame, is it an actual candle or
Candle.
lantern
Yep.
or torch?
Whatever anybody wants to light. We don't
Mhm.
have any, but
Okay.
we'd like it to be a candle. We would like it to be a candle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've had people do their campfire.
Mhm.
I actually had a flame one time that all I had was a little electric candle because I'm in an RV. Right now I
Mhm.
travel around a lot in an RV, and so I
Uh-huh.
have my little electric candle sometimes. Or
Yeah.
there's a lady that she has a beautiful lantern that's out on her balcony. She's over in Portugal.
Portugal. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just this, whatever you feel called to do. Some people have beautiful elaborate candles. Some candles are very simple. Some flames, it's just
Yeah.
yeah, so, it's and people who are not, so we have, like Laura mentioned, we have the permanent rota, and that means that we know that we have a flame lit every single day of the year. Like
Okay.
every night somebody's lighting a candle. But
Right.
all of the other members who were not on the permanent rota too, we want them to also share their flames. So it's just nice to see this rotation of flame pictures coming through the group. And then every now and then, we have a thread for, what people are doing personally with Brigid. And, we have a thread right now about what people are doing for Imbolc, what their plans are for that. Um, and it's just, it's like I said, no rules,
No
no anything.
hierarchy.
Yeah, there's no hierarchy. It's just, come to the table with your devotion, however that is for you. And we'd love to see it and share it and share it with you. And
I
it
think
just feels really easy like that. Yeah.
yeah, I think our only rule is to be kind.
Yeah.
We don't want anything on there that's divisive at all.
Mm.
We want it to be shine a
And
positive light.
Inclusive. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's a sweet little group, it's gentle, it is beautiful. And there hasn't been one cross moment on there in the time that
Mm-mm.
we've had it.
No.
And it's a very gentle place to go in and just, post your flame. And we've had people reach out to us privately and post to say, hey, I'm looking for information about this, or I want to do this thing. And we can handle that off to the side and say, absolutely, read this book, or go see this site in Ireland. And
Hmm.
whatever. I've been to Ireland. Laura's going to Ireland this spring.
Yeah. I read the
Yeah,
little
so
story about that you wrote in Bridget's Light where
yeah.
you disappeared for a while
Oh my gosh.
at the
Oh
magic
my gosh.
well.
Yes. Oh my gosh. That was so surreal to me. I can't wait to go back there again to that place.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah, just the whole thing. So, I work with other goddesses and do other things, but Bridget for me is just interwoven into my being, and she's just always there for me
Yeah,
like that.
same.
Yeah. And yeah.
Yeah. So we have a lot of listeners that are just beginning to open up to goddess spirituality. What advice would you give to someone to deepen their connection to Goddess Brigid?
Just
I would, I thought a lot about this. What I would say is find one attribute that you admire, or that you want to, a way that you see her or that you've heard about her that calls to you. And then just to dive into that one thing, because like we've said here, there's so many aspects of her. Um, don't get too drawn into, I have to know everything. And then what I did, because it's who I am, is I read about her, I studied about her, I meditated, I focused on her, and then I try to live my life with a heart for humanity as Brigid did, just to be an example, to be that flame, that welcoming port in a storm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. And Cairelle, do you have any advice for someone new to Goddess Brigid?
Yeah, yeah, just just approach with honesty and just who you are, because who you are is okay.
Mhm.
One of the things that I've heard about Bridget is that people feel like they have to be descended from Irish people or have a strong family connection to someone who's Irish, and that absolutely is not the case.
Mhm.
Brigid is for everybody. So, if
Yeah, she'll meet you where
don't
you
let the
are.
yeah,
That's
don't
right.
let the constraints that society tries to impose on you. There's always a rule, right? There's a
Hmm.
rule for this. You have to be this, you have to do that.
Or
You
you
have
have to
to
have a
know this.
perfect altar.
Exactly. You know what? You can, if you sit quietly with one little, I don't care if you have to light a cigarette lighter and hold it down, or if you light a candle in your mind, if that is all you have,
Yeah.
Bridget welcomes you. She does not need a big altar. She does not need the fanciest candle. She doesn't need the perfect setting. What she needs is you with your good heart to sit down and say, "Here I am."
Yeah. And be
That's
open.
it. And
Yeah.
be open. And you know what? After that, it will come to you in the way that is meaningful to you. And then I would suggest too reading some scholarly articles. Mary Condren is she's very scholarly. She is I love her work. She is I'm going to give you some information. She's at the
Yeah.
Center for Gender and Women's Studies
Okay.
at Trinity College Dublin, and you
Okay.
can Google her. And she is just she's a brilliant writer, and she's focused on culture and contemporary culture, pre-Celtic stuff, and just she's so knowledgeable about this, and I really
Yeah.
love that. But yeah, read and just know that you are enough.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love that. And
Mhm.
if you can travel, that would be awesome too, at some
You
point.
know, if you go to Ireland, if you can go to Ireland, if you are privileged enough to be able to make that journey,
Yeah.
that really is the heartland.
Yeah.
It is so she is so ingrained in that culture,
Oh
and it's an
yeah.
absolutely amazing thing.
Great.
Oh yeah, and that leads me to my next thing. So what are some of your upcoming plans for the future with either Sanctuary Brigid or just an extension of Goddess Brigid, your studies or devotion? Do you have any like new books on the horizon or workshops or events?
Go ahead, Laura. You have
We are currently writing a new book,
Oh,
and
is it a surprise or?
yeah, right now it's
Okay,
a
okay,
surprise.
okay.
And possibly another anthology, which is also we can't really talk about it yet. Um, that's us together, and Cairelle has her own things too. But the other, for me, I'm a drum maker, and so um, I'm going to be holding. I live near Mount Shasta, very near,
Yeah, I know
and
that.
I'm going to be. I hold drum workshops and I make drums. I have always loved to write and be creative, and and to share that with others fills my heart with a lot of
Yeah.
joy. And so um
Oh,
that,
beautiful. I love the idea of
Mhm.
making a Brigid drum too.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Isn't that exciting? And Laura says she also makes rattles.
yes.
And her rattles are, I have her number 2 drum that she ever made.
Uh-huh.
Uh, for me, and it's absolutely stunning. It's black, and it's because I'm a
Ooh.
genealogist, and so it's just I wanted a black drum. It's very meaningful for me, the color for a specific reason, and
Hmm.
yeah. So she's got that. We are writing another book. We are. I said after this anthology was done, because it was such hard work, I said, we are never doing another anthology again.
Yeah.
And of course, that was not true, because we're like, um, I love Brigid's Light. It's very heavily focused on like women and childbirth and whatnot. And I have always wanted to explore how Brigid works with people who might be non-binary, or,
Yeah.
just
Right.
identifying different ways, and other people's experiences out there. You
Yeah.
know, there's a lot of men we didn't hear from.
Hmm.
Where are they? I know they're out there. So, and there's just she's just so much that I feel we have to do another one.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can't wait to
Yeah.
see what you come
Yeah.
up with. So, lastly, you both of you have websites and social media that people can learn more about you and the Sanctuary of Brigid and the Brigid Light anthology.
Yeah, I'll go first as Cairelle. So I have a website. It's cairelle.com, cairelle.com. And my handle on social media is I am Cairelle. You can find me there. Sanctuary of Brigid has a website. It's got basic information on it. That is sanctuaryofbrigid.com. Um, and Brigid's Light, we have a link to the book on there to talks about it and where you can purchase it. And I'll let Laura do her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I have a website, and it's just my name, laurahegle.com. And I'm on Instagram at Hey Lolly Laura, and that's Lally, and then Laura, Laura. The other thing that we do that we didn't mention is that Cairelle and I hold a monthly online
Oh, yeah.
group called Silver Circle.
Okay.
And that is with a focus, I don't know, what would you say, Cairelle? I don't want to say perimenopause to menopausal women.
35 plus, if you're starting to experience that midlife shift,
Uh-huh.
it's a great time to come together and circle with other women
Absolutely.
who also,
Yeah.
there's not enough information out there about it. It's kind of become a passion of ours lately, being that we're both of that age now. And it's a great little circle. We have had some really meaningful exchanges in there, and I think it's a great place to offer support and get support, and just
Okay.
have a conversation about something that's typically, I don't know, what do you say? They don't want to hear about it in polite
Hidden.
society. Yeah, exactly.
Murky.
So it's
Yeah.
murky, hidden, and so we're shining a light on it, right?
Beautiful.
So again,
Brigid's light is shining on this. I
Yes.
guess
yes,
so.
absolutely. Yeah. You can find out more about that on our websites. There's links about how to sign up to get an invite, because it's by invite only.
Okay.
There's the link to join in is by invite, and
Okay.
we'll email you an invite. We have it second Saturday of every month.
And it's never recorded, so everybody has private feels that they can
Yeah,
share, and it's not floating out there anywhere. It's
right.
it's just right there in the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It sounds
Yeah.
very respectful, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much for your passion and your dedication to Goddess Brigid. I just love what you do. And I just want to wish you both happy in bulk and
Yeah.
best of luck on all your future endeavors. And blessed be.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been very sweet and wonderful. I'm happy to share.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank
Blessed
you.
be. Thank you. All right. Well, that's about it. And I'm going to sign off. Have a great
All
day,
right, great.
everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.